The cold metal floor of the outer station was always quiet at night. Ray, a human medic, walked slowly through the dim hallway, his boots making soft thuds. He had just finished a 16-hour shift and was heading home when he heard something. A soft gasp, then a weak cry. Ray stopped. He turned toward the shadows near the trash bay, his eyes narrowed. Something or someone was lying there. Curled up, shaking. He walked closer and knelt down. It was a girl. Alien. Her skin was pale purple, with a slight glow under the surface. Her breathing was fast, shallow. She looked like she was in pain. One hand was holding her stomach tightly. The other was pressed against her chest. "Hey," Ray said gently. "Can you hear me?" The girl opened her eyes halfway. They were a bright, glowing silver, but full of fear. She tried to speak, but her voice was dry and cracked. "Who?" "Man, too small," she whispered. "It hurts, inside." Ray looked around. No guards, no cameras on this side of the bay. He knew if security found her, they'd throw her into the holding cell or worse. "Can you walk?" he asked. She barely shook her head. Without wasting time, Ray picked her up carefully. She was light, too light. Her body felt cold and weak. He moved quickly, taking the side passage used by cleaners and droids. Back in his small room on level 6, he placed her gently on the bed. She was sweating. Her body trembled. Ray scanned her with his medical pad. Heart rate, unstable. Internal stress, critical. Unknown biosignature detected. "What did they do to you?" he whispered. The girl opened her eyes again, gasping for air. "They tried to insert. Too early." "Insert what?" She groaned and grabbed her stomach again. "System, growing. Body not ready." Ray didn't understand completely, but one thing was clear: something was inside her. Something unnatural. And her body was rejecting it. She arched her back suddenly, a painful moan escaping her lips. "Please," she cried. "Don't let it finish." Ray moved fast. He hooked up a nutrient 4 and gave her a mild sedative to ease her pain. She slowly relaxed, but tears kept falling from her eyes. "I didn't ask for this," she whispered. "I just wanted a warm room, food." Ray sat down beside her. His mind was racing. What was the system she was talking about? Why was it hurting her from the inside? He noticed strange marks along her abdomen, faint lines glowing blue. They weren't scars, they were living, moving slowly under her skin. Ray had seen many alien species before, but this was different. She suddenly grabbed his arm, weakly, desperately. "You touched me first time," she whispered. "Please, don't call them. They'll take me back." Ray looked into her silver eyes. "I'm not calling anyone," he said firmly. "You're safe here." Her hand relaxed, but just then, his pad beeped. Unknown signal detected. A foreign transmission coming from her body. Ray's eyes widened. "You've got a tracker." She didn't respond. She had passed out. Ray stood up, locked the room, and turned off all outside connections. Whoever did this to her wasn't finished. And now they knew where she was. He had only one night to figure out what was inside her before they came. Ray couldn't sleep. He sat beside the alien girl, watching her chest rise and fall slowly. The soft blue light from her skin lit up the small room. Every few minutes, her body twitched. Her face tightened in pain. Even in sleep, something was happening inside her, and it wasn't natural. Ray's medical pad still showed strange readings. A second heartbeat. Foreign cell growth. High energy pulses coming from deep inside her. Abdomen. "She's changing," Ray whispered to himself. But into what? Suddenly, her body jerked. She gasped loudly, sitting up straight. Her hands gripped the blanket tightly. Her eyes opened wide, glowing even brighter than before. Ray rushed to her side. "Breathe slowly," he said. "You're safe." But her voice trembled. "No, I'm not." She looked down at herself, then back at Ray. It's growing faster. My system, it's reacting. I was never ready. Ray narrowed his eyes. System, you said that before. What do you mean? She leaned back against the wall, shaking. Her face turned pale. My people. We don't give birth. We grow systems inside, synthetic. Controlled. You mean like an artificial womb? She nodded slowly. Yes, but someone forced mine to activate, too early. Ray looked at the scans again. The internal structure was spreading, growing new nerves, new tissue. The foreign organ was now connected to her spine and brain. It's fusing, he said quietly. It hurts, she whispered. Every time it grows, my real organs get pushed. I can't breathe sometimes. Ray stepped back. His heart pounded. If it kept growing, her body would collapse from the inside. I can try to stop it, he said, reaching for his tools. Maybe I can cut it out, but she reached for his hand fast. No! She cried. If you remove it now, I'll die. Ray froze. I don't understand. You said it's hurting you. It is. But it's alive now. Part of me. If you cut it out, my system will crash. My body won't survive without it anymore. Ray stared at her speechless. This wasn't just an implant. It had become a part of her. Living, pulsing, feeding on her energy. And now she had no way to remove it without dying. You said someone forced this on you. Who? Ray asked. She looked down. Silent for a moment. Then she spoke, barely a whisper. The generative. Ray frowned. The generative? That's a myth. Genetic engineers from the outer belts? They're real, she said, eyes filled with pain and memory. They buy girls from poor colonies. Give us fake jobs, then they experiment. Ray felt a chill run down his spine. They forced you into this? He asked. I was hungry. I signed the contract without reading it. I thought I was going to clean ships. Instead, they put this inside me, said I was lucky. Said my body matched the DNA ... double quote. Her voice cracked. I begged them to stop. They said it was too late. My system accepted the merge. Ray clenched his jaw. He wanted to break something. Then how did you escape? She smiled weakly. I didn't. One of their ships was hit by a storm. I crawled out during the crash, found this station. I've been hiding ever since. Ray sat down beside her. He had treated soldiers with broken bones, miners with missing limbs, even smugglers with poison in their blood. But this was something different. This was cruelty. Whatever they did, he said, I'll find a way to fix it. She shook her head. No one can fix this. Not unless you know how to stop system fusion, and only the generative know that. Ray stood up. Then I'll find them. She looked at him, surprised. Why? Why help me? Ray gave her a tired smile. Because when I found you, you were dying, and I didn't walk away. She stared at him, eyes soft now, then looked away. Human, she whispered. I'm still not ready. My body, it's too small to handle this. Ray nodded. Then we'll make sure you grow. Strong enough, together. But just as those words left his mouth, his scanner beeped again. A silent signal, a tracking pulse. Getting closer. The generative had found her, and they were coming. The station lights flickered. Ray quickly shut down his scanner, grabbed the alien girl's hand and whispered, They're coming. She looked up at him, eyes wide with fear. Her lips trembled. I can feel it. My body knows. They're near. Ray pulled open a panel in the floor, an old maintenance tunnel barely used anymore. In here, he said. She hesitated, clutching her stomach. Her breathing was short, painful. I can't move fast, she whispered. It's swelling again. Ray didn't argue. He lifted her into his arms and slid down into the tunnel. The metal hatch clicked shut just seconds before footsteps echoed outside. Darkness surrounded them. Only the dim blue light from her glowing skin lit the narrow path ahead. Her head rested on his chest, but her body kept twitching. "Ray!" She gasped softly. "It's changing again. The organ. It's growing more nerves." Ray stopped. "What?" She nodded weakly. "It's learning, connecting. It's not just inside me anymore, it's becoming me." Ray set her down gently in a quiet storage room under the medical deck. He scanned her again, hoping the reading was wrong. But it wasn't. The foreign tissue had multiplied. What started as a small cluster was now connected to her spinal cord, her brainstem, and half her internal organs. This shouldn't be possible. Ray whispered, "It's building new systems inside your body." She coughed, holding her chest. "It's like, my body is no longer mine. This thing, it's not supposed to exist alone. It's supposed to merge with a full-grown female, one with space inside, but they used me instead." Ray sat back, trying to stay calm. "You said you weren't ready." "I'm not," she replied. "My body is too small. My organs can't handle this pressure. It's feeding on me like a parasite that thinks we're one." Ray looked at her, trying to think. This wasn't just a case of organ rejection. This was organ possession. She suddenly grabbed his arm, her fingers cold. Her voice was barely a whisper. "Please, if I die, remove it, burn it. Don't let them take it back." "You're not going to die," Ray said firmly. She stared at him, but something changed. Her back arched suddenly, and she let out a sharp cry. Ray pulled her shirt aside and saw her skin glowing brighter than ever. Under her ribs, the outline of something moving was visible. It had shape. It had form. It wasn't human. And it wasn't entirely alien either. Ray's heart pounded. This was alive. He leaned in. The organ had veins, muscles, and something that looked like a heartbeat. But it wasn't hers. "I have to cut it out," Ray whispered. "No," she cried again. "You said you wouldn't. If I don't, it'll finish bonding with your brain." She froze. "Brain?" Ray nodded slowly. "Once it completes the neural link, it might take over. Not just your body, but your mind too." She looked like she might cry. "But if you remove it, I die." Ray stared at her. Then stood. "There has to be another way." He opened his toolkit and activated his surgical scanner. He focused on isolating the organ, mapping every nerve it had connected to. "What are you doing?" she asked, voice shaking. "I'm going to disconnect it, partially, just enough to slow it down." "Is that safe?" "No," he said. "Not for me, but I'm not letting them win." He touched a small scalpel to her side. Her body flinched. She held in a scream. Ray worked fast. Every cut had to be perfect. One wrong move and her spine could lock. Or her heart could stop. Sweat rolled down his face. Her pulse dropped. Her breathing slowed. "Stay with me," he whispered. But then he reached something. A small cluster of nerves, glowing bright red hidden under the growing mass. It pulsed once, twice, then stopped. Her body went limp. "No!" Ray shouted. He scrambled to resuscitate her. Heart monitor, flat. Blood pressure, 0. He pushed on her chest. Once, twice, again. "Come on, don't leave me now." Then gasped. She coughed violently and opened her eyes. The glow from her body dimmed. She blinked. Confused. Ray stared at the screen. The organ had stopped expanding. "You did it," she said, tears in her eyes. "You stopped it." Ray didn't smile. He was too tired. Too angry. "They'll be back," he said. She nodded. "Then we run." Ray helped her stand. But before they left, she looked back at the surgical table, at the black and red growth, still resting inside her. "It's still inside me," she whispered. "It's part of me now." Ray looked at her. "Then we make sure you control it, not them." And together, They disappeared into the shadows before the generative returned. Ray stared at the empty medical bed. She was gone. His hands were shaking. His heart thudded in his chest. Just 30 minutes ago, she was lying right there, breathing weakly but alive, recovering. Now, all that remained was a single message, written across the wall in bright green letters. She belongs to us. Do not interfere. Ray backed up slowly, his eyes scanning the room for clues. The door was locked from inside. No damage. No noise, no struggle. She couldn't have left on her own, not after surgery. She was too weak. They took her, he whispered. But how? He tapped his scanner. Security logs were wiped. His med files, corrupted. It was clean. Too clean. This was professional. Jenna Riv. Ray clenched his jaw. He remembered her last words before she closed her eyes. If they find me. They won't. Ask, they'll take. And no one stops them. He pulled open a hidden drawer and grabbed his old gear. A data probe, a silencer pistol, and a black cloak. He hadn't touched this stuff in years, not since he left the smuggler lanes. He wasn't a soldier anymore. But today, he had no choice. I promised you, he whispered. I said I wouldn't let them take you. He opened his comms line. To a secure channel. ShadowNet. I need a trace on unauthorized transport from Station 12 in the last hour. Priority, level red. The voice on the other end hesitated. Red? What are you mixed up in, Ray? Just trace it. Within minutes, data started flowing in. A private shuttle, no ID left. Doc C using a bypass code. Registered destination, unknown. But it wasn't what the ship said that caught Ray's attention. It was what the surveillance didn't show. There were no images of the boarding. No logs of passengers. Only static, cloaked unit, Ray muttered. Smart. But not perfect. One camera outside the dock had glitched. A 5-second flicker. Ray froze the frame. His breath caught. There she was, between two tall, white-cloaked figures, her feet dragging. A black mask covering her mouth. The generative. They didn't stun her. They didn't sedate her. She was awake, aware, and she was crying. Ray slammed his fist into the table. He pulled up old generative files. The last known lab, orbiting Moon Colony Sector 4Z, abandoned, hidden inside a mining shell. That's where they'd take her. He had to move fast. Once she reached the core facility, it'd be over. They'd finish the fusion. Maybe erase her. Mind completely. Maybe worse. Ray packed medical tools, an emergency stim kit, a short-range EMP, and a stolen generative access badge, just in case. As he entered the hangar, his voice assistant beeped. Warning, unauthorized flight will be tracked. I don't care, Ray growled. Track me, just get me to her. The generative lab was buried inside a dead rock. From outside, it looked like a collapsed mining post. Silent, empty, but as Ray moved through the ruined tunnels, he heard a low hum, machinery, energy. He followed the sound until he reached a steel door sealed with biometric locks. He reached into his pocket and pulled out something he hadn't touched in years. A pulse. Knife. Old tech. Illegal. Perfect. 1. Swipe and the lock sizzled open. The door slid aside. What Ray saw inside froze him to his core. Rows of glass tanks. Dozens of alien females. Different races floating. Eyes closed. Tubes inside their bodies. Like hers. All connected to machines that pulsed with green liquid and red light. He moved carefully, scanning every tank. Then he saw her, the girl. She was suspended inside one of the tanks, her body limp, no clothes. No sound. Just glowing veins running across her skin. She opened her eyes slowly. Saw Ray. Her hand twitched. He rushed forward, but a sharp voice stopped him. Don't touch her. A tall generative doctor stood beside the tank, calm and cold. She is the first one to survive the merge, a perfect hybrid. You should be proud, human. You helped her evolve. Ray raised his weapon. You call that evolution? The generative didn't flinch. She would have died without us. Now she'd be reborn. Powerful, obedient, controlled. Not if I break her out. You can't, the doctor said. The system is fully active. Remove her now, and her heart will stop in 5 seconds. Ray looked at her face. She mouthed something. He couldn't hear it, but he could read her lips. Burn it all. Ray turned to the control panel. He didn't hesitate. He slammed the EMP into the core and triggered the override. The lab screamed with sirens. Tanks burst. Lights flashed. Sparks flew. The generative lunged at him, but Ray fired. One shot. Clean. Turned back to her tank dash, shattered. Her body lay on the floor, not moving. He ran to her, lifted her up, pressed the stim to her chest. Breathe, he shouted. Come on. 1 second, 2. Then she gasped. She was alive, but barely. Ray lifted her into his arms, smoke and alarm surrounding them. And together, once again, they ran. Smoke still floated in the air. Ray carried her through the burning hallway, her body limp in his arms. Sirens screamed behind them. The generative lab was collapsing, piece by piece, but Ray wasn't stopping. Not now. He had her. And he wasn't letting go. She stirred slightly. Her fingers twitched. Her eyes opened halfway. You came back, she whispered. Of course I did, he said, pushing through a half-melted door. You think I'd let them keep you? I felt it. They were inside my head, showing me things. Ray looked down at her. They won't touch you again. But as they entered the lower level, something made Ray stop. Silence. Thick. Heavy. No more alarms. Just cold. The hall was different here. Clean. Bright white lights. No scorch marks. No fire. And far too quiet. Ray set her down gently behind a wall and peeked forward. What he saw didn't look like a lab anymore. It looked like a showroom. Glass. Tanks tall as trees lined the circular chamber. Each tank held a female alien. Beautiful, still, eyes open, breathing but not moving. Like dolls on display. Different species. Different ages. All modified. All glowing. The air smelled sterile mixed with faint perfume. Ray stepped forward slowly, scanning each tank. And then, he saw her. Not the girl. Another version of her. Same face. Same eyes, but older, sharper. Her body was developed. Strong. The same glowing lines ran through her skin, and she was smiling. At nothing. What is this? The girl whispered from behind him. She had crawled forward, weak but awake. Ray turned. They cloned you. She stared at her older self inside the tank. No, that's not me. That's what they wanted me to become. Ray tapped the console. The display flashed. Project VESSEL 9 status. 83% synchronized purpose. Breeder. Host for generative prime SE. Ray stepped back. They weren't just merging DNA, he said. They were creating vessels, custom bodies, perfect hybrids. She trembled. That's why my system rejected it. I wasn't meant to carry it, just host it. Suddenly, another door hissed open. Ray pulled her behind a pillar, gun raised. Generative researchers walked in calm, talking softly. She was a failed sequence. I told you, younger hosts collapse before full merge. Yet she escaped. That's a risk. We'll extract the organ when she's recaptured. The body is not important. The organ is. The girl's eyes widened. They don't care if I live, she whispered. Only what's growing inside. Ray's grip on the gun tightened, but he didn't fire, not yet. Instead, he watched as the researchers approached a final tank in the center of the room. This one was different. Inside was a pulsating red pod covered in veins, floating, alive. Ray's scanner picked it up. Generative seed core mature stage. 98% host required. Neural link INIT. The girl flinched. That's it. That's the thing inside me, a part of that. Ray's eyes narrowed. They planted a piece inside you and kept the main core here, like a remote system. Suddenly, the pod twitched. A deep hum filled the chamber. And then it spoke, not with words, with sound. A pulse that made Ray's vision blur, made the girl scream and grab her head. "It's calling to me," she cried. "It knows I'm here." Ray didn't wait. He aimed and fired at the tank. The bullet bounced. Shielded. The researchers turned. Alarm started again. Ray fired again, this time at the control panel. Sparks flew. The shield flickered. Then he charged, grabbed a plasma blade, and smashed the tank open. The red pod fell to the floor with a wet thump. It writhed, moved. Tried to crawl toward the girl. "No!" Ray shouted and stomped it again and again until the pod went still. The room fell silent. The researchers lay unconscious, and the pod was broken. Ray turned back. The girl was kneeling, eyes shut, breathing hard. Then she smiled. "It stopped. The signal. I can't feel it anymore." Ray helped her up. "You're free now." But just as they turned to leave, her body shook again. Not in pain. In confusion. I don't think I'm fully human anymore," she whispered. "Or fully alien." Ray looked at her glowing veins and saw something new. Her eyes, once silver, now had a faint red spark. He said softly, "Then whatever you are, they can't control you anymore." And they walked out, leaving behind the broken lab and the Generiv's dream of control. Asterisk. They were flying through the stars. The small stolen ship shook with every passing second. Sparks flying from the left engine. Alarms screamed, warning of overheating. But Ray didn't care. He kept looking at her. The girl was lying across the passenger bench, her hands pressed tightly against her chest, her body glowing brighter than ever before. Her veins were no longer blue or purple, they were red. Deep, burning red. "Ray," she whispered. "Something's happening." "I know," he said softly. "Just hold on. We're almost clear of their radar." "No, I don't mean outside. I mean inside me." She arched suddenly, crying out. Her back hit the bench hard. Her eyes rolled back. Ray ran to her side. "Talk to me." "What's wrong?" "It's not over," she gasped. "That pod you destroyed, it triggered something inside. The last connection, the final surge." Her skin was hot, burning. Ray touched her shoulder and his fingers, almost blistered. "Your temperature's spiking. This isn't natural." "I told you, I wasn't ready." Her body trembled violently. Then silence. Her breathing stopped. Ray's heart skipped. "Hey. No, breathe." He grabbed a stim pack, stabbed it into her arm, then opened her mouth and tilted her head back. Still nothing. Then suddenly her eyes shot open. But they weren't her eyes anymore. They glowed with a blinding red light, like two stars burning from inside. She sat up without warning, breathing fast, her fingers twitching in unnatural patterns. "Ray," she said in a voice that sounded both hers and not hers. "I can feel everything." He backed up slightly. "What do you mean?" "I can feel the ship, the air, you, every signal, every code around me." Her voice echoed, like two versions speaking at once, one soft, one metallic. Ray looked at her hands. Energy flickered at her fingertips. The ship lights blinked with her heartbeat. "You're connected to everything," he muttered. "I don't know how to stop it," she whispered. "It's like the system inside me finished growing. And now it's not just part of me, it is me." Ray looked into her eyes again and saw fear, not for him, for herself. "I don't want to lose who I am," she said, her voice cracking. "But the more I feel this power, the less human I feel." Ray moved closer, gently placing a hand on her arm. This time, it didn't burn him. "You're still you," he said. "You're still the girl I found in the shadows. The one who whispered for help, The one who asked me not to call them. That was you, not the system, not the generative, you. She blinked, tears forming in her glowing eyes. Then suddenly, her body twisted in pain. She screamed, her back slamming into the wall. Her chest glowed bright, so bright, it lit up the entire ship. The organ inside her was pushing one last time. One last transformation. The final surge. I can't hold it. She cried. It's tearing me apart. Ray grabbed the medkit, opened the ship's emergency restraints, and secured her to the bench. Her body thrashed violently, electric pulses shot from her fingers, frying panels and sending sparks across the controls. Ray ran to the pilot seat. AI, reroute all energy to life support and containment. Warning, system core unstable. He looked back at her. She was glowing like a star, now floating slightly above the seat, hair rising, veins bursting with energy. He whispered, please, stay with me. She opened her mouth and a pulse of raw energy exploded outward. Every screen went black. Every alarm shut off. Silence. Then she collapsed. Ray rushed over. No breath, no pulse. Just soft red light flickering under her skin. He held her face. No, please. Then gasped. She inhaled sharply, and her eyes slowly opened. This time, they weren't glowing, just silver. Her voice was soft, normal. Is it over? Ray exhaled. I don't know, but you're here. That's what matters. She looked around. The ship was dead, but still floating. I feel empty, she whispered. Like the thing inside me burned out. Ray looked at her unsure. Are you still connected? She closed her eyes. Then smiled. No signals, no pulses, just silence, just me. Ray helped her sit up. Then maybe, for the first time, you're free. She looked at him. Her hand reached for his, and she whispered something that made his chest ache. Ray, I want to go somewhere with sky, real sky, where I can breathe. For the first time, he nodded. We'll find it. And together, they drifted into the stars, chased by no one, owned by no one. Alive. 3 days passed since the surge. The stars were calm now. Ray stood outside a small outpost on a peaceful moon, watching the pale green sky above him. Gentle wind touched his skin. No alarms, no weapons. Just silence. Behind him, the door to the TV medical pod hissed open. She stepped out slowly, barefoot, her hair falling over her shoulders, not glowing anymore. Not shaking, but still changed. Still beautiful. Her voice was quiet. Where are we? Ray smiled. A forgotten moon. No cities. No ships, just sky. She looked up. And gasped. It's real. She took a slow step forward, breathing deeply. I've never seen sky before, she whispered. Only ceilings, screens, tanks. Ray watched her spin slowly, arms stretched like a child. For a moment, she looked happy. Then her smile faded. She sat on a rock nearby, staring at her hands. I can't feel it anymore, she said. Ray sat beside her. Feel what? The connection. The signals, the energy. It's all gone, even the heat inside me. It's like the system died with that final surge. Ray nodded. You burned it out. You won. She looked at him, eyes soft. Then why do I feel hollow? He didn't speak. She looked down. They built me to carry something, to be something. And now that it's gone, I don't know who I am anymore. Ray turned to her. You're not a vessel, not a project, not theirs. She glanced sideways. Then what am I? Ray thought for a moment, then said, you're someone who survived something no one else could. Her eyes met his. But I'm still not ready, she said, voice cracking. Not to live normal. Not to touch people. Not to feel things. Ray reached for her hand but stopped, letting it hover near hers. I know, he said softly. I'm not asking for anything. Silence settled between them. Then her fingers moved and touched his, gently, Carefully. I'm scared, she whispered. What if I hurt you? What if the system comes back? Ray smiled slightly. Then we deal with it. Together. She squeezed his hand, shaky at first. I've never had a choice before, Ray. You have one now. She looked into his eyes. I'm not ready. Then she leaned against his shoulder, resting her head carefully. But I'm yours. Ray closed his eyes. He didn't say anything. He didn't need to. The moment was enough. After all the pain, the running, the fear, they had this, a breath. A sky, and each other. No trackers. No orders. No experiments. Just a girl who was made for control, and a man who gave her freedom.